out to the virtuous woman. You know who you are. Yeah. It's Paul on Productions. Yeah. Beat extraordinaire. Yeah. This might come as a surprise to you. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'ma let you know before I say goodbye to you. I've been watching you for a long time. I got a lot to prove, and I'm small time. You all fine, so I know I'm in the long line.
All right. Shalom to you all. Brothers and sisters, we are glad to embark upon this journey called the GOCC Radio. Of course, this is Brother and Elder Lawya filling in for Elder Rawchaa. And tonight, we're going to jump right into a very, I would say, exciting discussion for you brothers and sisters, especially because tonight is your night. And a majority of tonight's focus will be you having the ability to express yourself with either questions, requests, or comments. So if you have either three, please feel free to chime in, to call in and provide any of those things. Again, your questions, your requests, your comments, your concerns, or what have you. Brothers and sisters, tonight we're going to be an open ear, just listening and taking in some of what you have to say. Now, before we do so, I want to make sure that we have Elder Gaja with us. So let me bring in Elder Gaja. Shalom, Elder Gaja. Are you with me?
Yes, sir. I'm with you. Man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. I couldn't be any better. How about yourself?
I'm blessed. Praise to the Most High, man. I'm excited, ready to hit some. I told Elder Rawchaa when I get back on the radio, so I'm sat down, I'm relaxed. I got my headphones on, I'm plugged in, I'm ready to go. You with me? You understand? So, may the Most High be our guide.
Hey, let's do it. And just to give the brothers and sisters a little insight, earlier we had a brief conversation, and you were mentioning that your trip here was reinvigorating. It was a refreshing to the spirit, being able to be amongst the elders having the opportunity to be amongst you. And honestly, it was the first time that has ever taken place, where you have the elders of the United States sitting down and communing with the main chief elder over the UK, Europe, and South Pacific region. So if you can just give the brothers and sisters a little bit of insight on your experiences here and your plans in the future to, eventually, if it be the Most High's will, of course, come back and have some more of those wonderful, precious experiences.
Yeah, man, all praises to the Most High, praise the Most High. It was right on time, first and foremost. I mean, I was in Canada before, and something said, listen, come over to the States. First time in Babylon in 15 years. So, the last time I was there, I was a boy, I was, very much younger, and coming into Babylon with the truth, a whole new perspective. You understand? Sitting down with yourself, Elder Rawchaa, Elder Gaja, we sat down, we spoke, we discussed things moving forward for the church. It was just good. You understand, man? It's like it's been a while since I've been submerged, so to speak, just on a day-to-day basis from the sun up till the sun go down, so to speak. We're just discussing the works. You understand me? It was really good, man. And I mean, it's been a while since I've actually sat down with yourself and Elder Rawchaa, and it was really good, man. We spoke about old times, you with me, even off camera, off air. We spoke about some of the things that we were experiencing in the UK, and it was just funny. You understand? It was good. It was for me and my brother. It was a blessing, and I really enjoyed it, man. You have no idea how much I enjoyed just being there. It's like, I'm back in Jamaica now, and I'm like, yo, is it wrong for me to miss Babylon? But then really, I'm missing you. I'm missing, I miss being around, being around the elders, man. Like, when you're linking with Elder Gabar, right? You linking with Elder Gabar, it's like Elder Gabar drives, he has his phone on, and he's just dealing with church from his awake till we shut down in the evening. You with me? And it's just, it was good, man. I went down to the store where they make the I Am apparel, and just to see that was a blessing as well. How organized it is, how ordered, how everything is in order. It was good, man. Coming into New York, meeting the brothers and sisters down there in New York. Big up to New York congregation. You understand me? All of the officers them down there. Too much to name. Officer Ganan sticks out in my mind, and I know if he's listening, he's probably smiling right now. Yeah, And congratulations, my brother. I saw the video of your announcement on the Shabbat of you and the sister getting together. Big up to the family, the sister Shirley with the choir. Everything about New York was just special, because tell you what, it's one thing when you see New York, on the classes, you with me? And another thing when you're there in New York in front of the congregation and the choir singing, and when they sing the Shema, the Credo, oh my goodness, it's something different. You understand me? It's different, and the whole vibe from the congregation, and after it was just something. A lot of people were coming up to me and saying nice to meet you, Elder, and all that. But really, it was really my honor to be there. You understand what I'm saying? It was, I felt like blessed to be amongst the body, and just it was overwhelming, man. And we went on the street earlier before the class, and me and the brothers them out there, we went to war for a couple of hours before class, and when you look at the street, you see the we encountered Benjamite, we encountered Judite, we encountered Northern tribals. It's like the entire nation of Israel was on that street. You understand? And it was, and you're seeing it, and we're like, okay, we need to change the approach. We want to go out there, we want to bring some food out for the people and sit down and take a different approach, as opposed to doing it via the bullhorn way, where I am Israelite, I know the Bible. You have no fringes on. Where's your beard? All the things that you're not doing. Rather than coming from that angle, listen, come on, let us build. Let us, because this is what I realize here in Jamaica, right? You see, if a man hungry, as in his belly is hungry, there's no food in his belly. It's almost impossible for you to tell him nothing about the word, If he's stressed out and bugged out by what's going on around him, you can't really bring the truth to him like that. And I realize that with our people, because we're so broken, we're so detached, we're so separated, that the approach, we have to be able to reach out to our brother on a level where, brother, listen, come here, man. Let me talk to you. Like the scripture I always go to, and whenever I read it, it's like it's real. It hits out. I'm gonna read 2 precepts real quick, and then and then bring back around to what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely.
It says here, Matthew 9 and 35. And it says, and Yeshua went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing the sick, and healing every sickness, and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved. When I was in New York, I saw it in New York. I was looking at it on that street. It felt heavy. You understand me? You had a crackhead on the corner You are the pastor over the next side of the road. You understand me? You had another Israelite up on the opposite the pastor. You with me? And another Israelite adjacent to the pastor. You understand me? Or diagonally to the pastor. And the condition of the people is not being bettered. You understand? There's nothing better happening right now for the people. You understand? And it's the same conversation. And not coming off of the beaten part, but it's the same conversation that we're having, saying, listen, if we're looking at the Christian church and we saying a Christian church is on every corner, but yet still the condition of our people is still worsening, if we as Israelites are on the corner and the condition of our people is not getting better, then we are to be blamed. There's something that we are not doing.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
So this is where I am. This is how I'm looking at it. You understand? I think I read something yesterday. I had me laughing. It says the definition of madness is doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different result. That's the definition of madness. You understand? So if we have to look at it and say, all right, are we being effective? Okay, so that's how I was looking at it whilst I was in Babylon for that brief time. That how can we be more effective with the ministry? You understand? And like I was saying to you earlier, Elder Lawya, like if it be the Most High's will, if the Most High allow it, I'd really love to come back and spend a couple of months over there and go into some of the areas within the church that need a little bit of strength. You understand? If I can help and be a strength and build it, I'm willing to do that. But I mean, it's like you look and I always say it like this, that we surrounded by people who are in the truth. You understand me? Everything that we do, so sometimes we can get into that mindset that everybody has the truth. But it's not the case. There's some people out there that never heard this truth before. So, there's still, I believe, a lot of work left to be done. And whilst I was there in that little area, moving between New York, Boston, New Jersey, Connecticut, just moving around in that brief space of time, and there was just so much work. There's so much people out there that that don't have any hope. You understand me? And if we are gonna have to be that light for these people, and not just for them, even for ourselves, because being around the elders was a strength for me. You understand me? It re-energized me. It just have me. It gave me a bit of refocus. You understand? And I'm like, wow, and I think just the elders being together in New York. I got messages from the UK, the twins, Josh, Dawada, Jed, all of them brothers, Ryan, all of them brothers saying, where can they, what can they do now? You understand me? I think the twins said, walked out on the job. Listen, forget this. I was called to the works, and the brothers then been traveling from Birmingham every week, going to London, going to Leeds, going all over. I think they're in Manchester this week. This coming Sabbath, beat the Lord's will. They're gonna be there doing some works there. And I remember whilst we were doing the radio program, one of the brothers called in and said, "Oh, listen, he's ready. He's gonna just do the works." So just I saw a lot of things happen in that short space of time that we sat together and came together and broke bread and fellowship. You understand me? And it was good, man. And I'm riding that wave, that energy, that buzz, spiritual crack, if you will. You with me?
Yes. and you know what, Elder Gaja, it was just as much as an inspiration and a recalibration, if you will, of the Spirit for us as it was for you.
Praise the Most High, man.
And you know what? Sometimes, even being in this work, being elders, with all the Most High blessed us with, we also need that constant reaffirmation, that constant inspiration to continue in this work and to put us back in the focus, or put us back in the mindset of what we're here for. You understand? So, that definitely was an inspiration, and hey, it reset and recalibrated and refocused, just the radio show we did. How did the truth get to where it is today, starting from the United States, making its way into Europe? You understand? Remembering those humble times, beginning out in the truth, and just operating in the spirit of faith from day to day. And that's what that same spirit is what carried us up until this point. And I think tonight's discussion, hopefully, can help brothers and sisters who are listening and those who will fall upon this in the future also have some inspiration, also have a recalibration in the spirit to understand what the overall mission is. Because there's so many different things out there that people have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, whether it be the 9 to 5, whether it be family, whether it be, what's out there going on in the world, prophecy, what's going on social media. People are dealing with so many of these different things from day to day that it can easily cause them to lose focus. So, as we were mentioning earlier in the conversation, you coming back and being able to spend time with some of the churches, one of the things that we definitely want to do is make sure that the same exact experience that you had in New York with the brothers and sisters, the love, the charity, going out and having a care for the people, not just speaking down on the people from a pedestal or from a high horse, but actually meeting them where they are, understanding their suffering as Christ did. We want that same exact spirit to be spread throughout every single church that is under the Gathering of Christ Church banner. You understand? So before we can, there's a lot of things we can do and we desire to do and we want to do. One of the main things that's on the top of brothers and sisters' minds, and I'm pretty sure you get many questions on things such as migration, where are we going to go from here? What are some of the areas to look into? And of course, those things are important, and we're going to be having those discussions in the future. But if we don't first take the time to set up strong churches with strong brothers and sisters that have a fervent love one for another, then anything we do beyond that will essentially come to nothing. Because it's going to be what we build where we are that's going to carry us into the future, into another place, location, what have you. So, again, Elder Gaja, thank you for that testimony. It was, a powerful testimony. And listen, I pray we have many more opportunities to get some of those experiences in. Hopefully bring some surprise guests with you, from the UK, from Jamaica, what have you. And, just inspire. You understand?
100%, man. 100%, man. I said it to Elder Rawchaa that, I'm going to try my endeavor best to just, to link in, like, just like what we did a few weeks ago, and to spread it, man. I spoke to Elder Gaja. I was like, let's go over to Detroit, to areas like that. Let's go to Texas. Let's go California. Let's go down to Florida. Let's just move around the churches, man, and link in and build build on what we have and expand in other areas that we aren't. And I believe it's possible. I believe that by the will of the Most High, it will be done. You with me? The grace of the Most High, it will be done, because it's needed. And we're at that time right now where we should be linking in properly. Because think about it, and like this. Who wants to go somewhere or be somewhere with a bunch of people that they don't know? Nobody wants that. You understand me? I wouldn't feel safe taking my family and bringing my family amongst people I don't know. You understand? And the only way we can combat that is to spend time with each other, build with each other. Right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties here. You know, in the midst of the conversation just then, I got kicked out. So let me trying to see if I get Elder Lawya back in on the switchboard, and then we take it from there. All right. And big shout out to my brothers then from Soft Metals who are listening in. All right. Too much to name, but yeah, don't worry. I'll give you a proper shout out tonight. All right. Soft Metals in the building. All right. Yeah, man. I went to high school with these brothers and shared the word with them. It would be difficult as it might be, but still not going to give up on them, you know. Enough love to you, all right? So I know you're there tuning in and listening right now. All right, so let me try and get a Lawya back into the show, and then we'll go from there, all right? The track, and yes. All right, so spread the word. Let me know that Search Engine International is live with your host, Elders Gaja and Lawya, all right? All right, blessings. Okay, I think we got Elder Lawya back with us here. Elder, you there? Elder Lawya, do me a favor and just push one on your pad, and I'll put you in. All right, there we go. All right, Elder Lawya, you there? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, man, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, brothers and sisters.
Yes, the adversary just, blocked us off right with that one.
Yeah, I really think that the adversary does not want this conversation to go out because, as we were mentioning before we went off, it was, it's going to give us the opportunity to inspire the same way we were inspired, over these past few months. And, hey, without further ado, before the adversary steps in again, let's get into the conversation. First, we're going to just address what we're going to be dealing with for the majority of time in tonight's discussion. And then we're going to go into another brief topic that I think will be very interesting for some of the brothers and sisters. So let's get right into it. Okay. Now, for those who are listening, those who are tuned in, the topic of discussion for tonight is express yourself. Questions, requests, and comments. So this will be a very interactive show, if it be the Most High's will. And we want to hear those things and more from you all. Either your questions, your requests, and comments. So are there any questions that you need answered? Any concerns that you have that need to be addressed? Or simply you would like to make a comment concerning where you are in your walk or what's going on in the world today? Please feel free to call in this evening so that you can get the opportunity to express yourself. Okay? So that's what it's about. It's about you all tonight. Again, as we get inspired, as we, get refocused and recalibrated, we would like the same feeling to resonate with you all. First and foremost, it starts with the conversation of figuring out, brothers and sisters, and, what it is that you, to some degree, desire, or any questions or any things that you have that, will help you move forward in your walk and become a better servant of the Most High in Christ. So, hey, tonight we're at your service. Okay? Now, before we get into that, we have just under 2 hours before the show is over, before overtime. So before we get into that, we're going to spare a little bit of time to get into a discussion that was requested on the behalf of Elder Gaja. And that topic is, what's wrong with modern day Christianity? I mean, we obviously see the cesspool that the world refers to as the modern day Christian church. Now, some people may ask, well, how can we make such a bold statement concerning the Christian church? How can we say things like the modern day churches are the churches patterned after Babylon or after the worships of Babylon? How can we say that the modern day churches are corrupt and are servants of sin opposed to servants of Christ? Well, the example we have to draw from and to use as a barometer to measure any church, any organization, any doctrine, any philosophy, any belief is the Bible. Now, when we go into the Bible and we examine the original first century church that was established, of course, through the teachings of Christ, which were eventually passed down to his apostles, his disciples, who themselves, through the power of the Holy Spirit, began to set up churches known today, again, as the first century church, and we examine their workings. We examine their doctrines, what they practice, and we compare it to our modern day Christian churches. I mean, we see a stark contrast. It's to the point where you have to ask yourself, well, if the disciples and the apostles were the example of what a Christian was in that time, because again, we know that the disciples who were Jews that followed Christ, his word, kept his doctrine, kept his teachings, were called Christians first in Antioch. So they were the first examples of what one would call a Christian. So if they were the first examples of what we acknowledge as Christians, we have to ask, do the modern day Christian churches fit the description or the example of a true Christian? Can they truly be referred to as Christians? Now, we know the biblical name that the Bible gives them prophetically. Okay? The Bible speaks of the chief church, the chief whore, with the chief doctrine that has been spread through all churches. It calls her Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots. The book of Jeremiah, the 5th chapter, if my memory serves me correct, around the 15th or around the 17th verse, tells us about how God's people would gather like troops, like armies, outside of the harlots' houses. So, in other words, if we're dealing from a prophetic standpoint, all of the churches that sprang from that original mother, that original harlot, are known as harlot houses. Okay? Now, we're not drawing this from our own understanding or our own dislikes of the modern day Christian church, or we don't have an axe to grind personally with the Christian church. We're dealing specifically and directly with what the Bible has to say concerning this topic. Now, I don't want to go too deep into it. I want to give Elder Gaja the floor, since again this was a request of his on his behalf. We're going to touch on this before we go into the questions and concerns or what have you. So, Elder Gaja.
Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. So, Elder Gaja, please bless us with some understanding of what's wrong with the modern day Christian churches.
All right. Praise the Most High. All right. How I came up with this topic line, right? It's like I said to you earlier. I'm looking at the disparity between what the Bible says and what we see being practiced within Christian church or within the denomination. All right. So, I have some friends listening to this broadcast, friends who I went to school with, friends who I'm very close with, right? And I wouldn't want to call them I wouldn't call them atheists, or I wouldn't call them that. I believe that they believe in, they believe in God, but they're not confident in, or should I say, they're very suspect of what they see come out of the Christian church. You understand? They're very suspect of it. And as a result of it, the Bible and everybody gets thrown into that bucket. You understand? So, what I'm trying to bring across here is that, all right, there's a difference between what you see going on right now in modern Christianity as opposed to what the first century church did. So if you're running into this broadcast for the first time, understand that, yes, the Bible stands true, but problem here with modern Christianity. Modern Christianity does not reflect the Bible and its principles. And the examples we can look at is the society. How is the society being run? The society claims to be, and I bring it around here. I'm in Jamaica. Jamaica have a church. There's a church up, 2 doors down from where I am right now. All right? This street that I'm on right now, murder, incest, homosexuality, you name it. This street has it all. Bleaching. You understand? So if we are surrounded by what they call in here the word of God, and this is the society, the result of it, then something is wrong. Same like I was saying earlier. If an Israelite is on every corner preaching, but there's no difference within the society, we still have gangs, we still have drugs, we still have hatred and variance for each other, then something is wrong. And if you bring that down even smaller, if we as a church with the truth, representing the Most High, and within us there's variance and strife and backbitings and murmuring, then there's something wrong with what it is that we're doing. And this is the question I'm asking. I'm putting out there to say, okay, what's wrong with this picture? We have so many mega churches right now that all seem to be preaching prosperity. All seem to be, everybody's concerned. Everybody is concerned about what we're wearing, how we dress, how we look, what's going on with our souls. What is wrong with modern Christianity? Does it reflect the Bible? When Christ was out there, where was he? Christ could have been rich off the gospel. If anybody could have been rich, it would have been him. But he went what? He went teaching. He went healing. He was preaching to the people. He was teaching them. He was feeding them. You understand? So why don't we see that reflection in modern Christianity as opposed to what the Bible is saying? And I'm trying to show my brothers and sisters them out there that the Bible is separate from what you see them doing right now. Okay, shalom, everybody. We are back. Elder Lawya, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clearly, and hopefully you can hear me just as well.
Con, I don't know what's going on tonight, boy. I don't know what.
Hey, I tell you, I don't think this has ever happened in the history of our Blog Talk Radio, but nonetheless, Elder Gaja, I'm going to let you go back in and flow where you left off, and then afterwards we're going to spend the rest of this time talking to the people, okay?
I'll tell you what we'll do, right? Being that we've gone so far in the time, right? Let us do some announcements, and me and you will do this broadcast again where we can pick up when we left off. Let's talk to the people. I mean, they've been here waiting for so long, all right? So
absolutely, that's the plan.
Let's just get some announcements out, what's going on, and then we'll pick it up from there with the peeps. All right, so I'll pass it to you first.
All right. So first and foremost, brothers and sisters, I want to make sure that we make a few announcements here dealing with, first and foremost, the GOCC network. I know many of you who have had the opportunity to go and check out some of the products that are there to support your fellow brothers and sisters and laborers who are looking for or to create alternatives from the corporations and the different things that we know are attacking us and are against us. So we thank our brothers and sisters for their efforts. And first and foremost, I'm going to go through the list of some of the businesses you can find on the network, and then we'll make a few more announcements concerning some other things, okay? So First and foremost, we would like to announce that we have a list of businesses, starting with Shea and Company Consulting, which is professional legal advice from Brother Shapat. We have a book called Recovering from Autism, which is one family's journey of hope and healing. We have Desired Promise, which is natural products, including hair butters, body butters, scrubs, and more. We have Exodus, which is herbal gum and tooth powder. We have Heavenly Treasures, which is essential oils, information on healing, well-being, and more. We have Above Rubies, which is homemade hair care products with moisturizing butters, oils, and extracts. We have Virtuous Light, which is homemade and hand-poured candles made with love. We have Ahia's Promise Herbals, which is natural body scrubs, deodorants, creams, oils, and more. We have Love is Obedience, which is one family story portraying the image of love, sacrifice, and obedience to parents. We have Amina's Blessed Naturals, which is fermented probiotic products that help to heal skin conditions. We have Infotechie, which is web design, PC laptop repairs, networking, custom logos and banners located in the New Orleans area. We have Fringes by Sister Math, which is custom-made Hebrew attire, including dresses, garments, scarves, shawls, tassels, and more. We'd also like to announce some of the newer businesses we have under the GOCC Business Network, such as Sawaka Bar, which is children's books and more. We have the Archives, which is professional tech services, including film and video production, graphic design, web development, and home technical support. We have Wholesome Publications, which is business cards, bookmarks, flyers, brochures, posters, banners, magnets, table covers, and more. We have SY Cultured Clothing, which is custom-made clothing made to order, and each garment is a piece of art. So those are the businesses under the GOCC network. Brothers and sisters, again, you can go and check this out under gatheringofchrist.org to support some of these brothers and sisters who have created these businesses. Also, in conjunction with that, I would like to announce that we are currently going into the 6th week of our academy. We are in the 2nd quarter of the academy, and yes, we are still offering spots or seats within the academy. So if you're interested, please send an email to gatheringas1 or simply go to historytimes.org in order to enroll in this academy. Also, we still have calendars for those who are interested in the calendars, either for themselves or for others as a gift. You can also go to historytimes.org in order to get one of those calendars, okay? So with that, if there's any other announcements, we'll make them towards the end of the show. But at this time, brothers and sisters, we really want to get to some of your questions and concerns. So we're going to turn it over and we're going to get right back into the show. So, Elder Gaja, you can go ahead and start opening up the lines, and we'll take the calls as they come.
All right, man. And one more announcement to add to that. The GOCC I Am Apparel. That's what it is. If you haven't been to the store yet, go and check it out. It not only its quality, it's good. It's supporting an Israelite business, but also it supports the work. You understand? So go and spend that extra with our people. And hey, let me just jump. Let me jump on let me lam me back on something real quick, Elder Lawya, before we open up the lines, right?
Oh yes, go ahead.
Let me lam me back on something. It was on social media very recently. I saw a comment that some brother disgruntled who used to be a part of the church saying, yeah, no longer a part of the church, and the church teaching, the church, I've come to realize the new doctrine, that what the church was teaching was false, basically, and a long social media rant. All right, And mind you, this person not telling the people that he's no longer following the laws of the Most High. But anyways, I spare you. I'll leave that for another conversation, right? So when you're looking at the threads and the comments, on these social media, one person said, yeah, I left the church because they were charging for higher knowledge, and I went, what? And I think that was in reference to the academy. Now let me tell you something, brothers and sisters out there, and people listening in earshot, okay? Or if you're just coming in you're just tuning into this broadcast for the first time, right? We are willing as a people to spend our money on things that we will never use and that are disposable, and we will think nothing about it. We won't think twice about it to do it. But when it comes to supporting our own, then it's something different. And we need to really examine that amongst ourselves as a nation of people. Because when you go down to the airline to buy a ticket, you don't go, oh, they're charging me high for this plane ticket. No, you know you do? You pay it. When you go to the movies and you want to see a movie or whatever the case is, right? You don't complain at the line of, oh, the ticket's expensive. No, you pay it. Okay? When you go and you buy clothes in these shops that are owned by the other nation, okay, that are made, all the profits from, all the proceeds from these products go to people that don't look like you, that don't care about your community. You have no problem with that. So when I hear some people talking, right, they need to really just stop and have a look in the mirror and look at what they are complaining about, or what I'd rather support my own. Today, me and one of the brothers I'm down here driving, and there's a shop where this guy, we're breaking down the truth to the guy, and the guy said, I don't care what you say, Selassie is going to be my God. So what did we do? The business can go elsewhere, because you know why? We're not going to support somebody who would want, let the idol provide for you. You understand me? So we're going to support the people them who believe in our God, who at least doing something for the nation. You understand me? I'm coming over into New York, looking at I Am Apparel, I'm like, yo, why should I wear a brand out there from, a Nike or a Timberland or whatever, when I can wear my own brand? When I know who made it. You understand? When I know that there was no spiritual sacrifice made over what I'm buying. Huh? People, we need to wake up. Israel, wise up in the flesh. But anyways, that said, yeah, we can head back into the... Go on, Elder. Go on.
Yeah, and hey, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, to think that, people would try to demean or bring down what the academy is to just us charging for knowledge. Not keeping in mind that the broadcast we're doing right now is free.
It's free.
Videos we do on YouTube from Sabbath to Sabbath, free. There's hundreds of videos where we're breaking down some pretty deep information. But we decided with the academy, because of course a lot of work went into it, a lot of work goes into it to make sure that it's there and it's up and running, so on and so forth. We decided for those who would like to further their, doctrinal education, that we would offer a caveat for those who are interested. And I tell you what, those who actually pay for the academy, they'll tell you that they don't have a problem not only paying for the academy, they would probably pay more if it was more. And you have brothers and sisters who repeat time after time, because the information that they receive in the academy is unmatched when it comes to anything else that they could possibly learn out there in the world. Okay?
I remember... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I remember a couple of years, a few years ago, I remember a few years ago there was someone that came in and said that within the, I think they were in the universities and they were using the Rapture Deception video as a class within the universities that the university that they were in, of Elder Rawchaa and yourself teaching on Rapture Deception. I remember that was a couple of years ago. Now for you to get into one of these theologian seminaries, so-called universities or higher education, okay, you have to pay. You have to pretty much write over your soul to them, because that student loan that you get to go there, you're gonna have to pay interest on it, and you never really finish paying for it. So I need my people. I need our people right now to really look at themselves, to really examine themselves, and we need to prefer each other. You understand me? I mean, when I saw it, man, I was like, boy, how could you talking about somebody charging you for higher knowledge? The videos on YouTube on a Sabbath day are like almost 4 hours long. Okay? the radio broadcast is 3 hours long. And there's countless other videos out there that been there been there for years. You understand? Of the elder street preaching and teaching. That's for free. For free. You understand me? So I mean, Israel, we need to wake up, and we need to really examine ourselves, Israel. And when people come at you and say these garbage to you, you need to look at them. When even the Bible that you read, you have to go and buy it. Exactly. I don't see nobody looking at Cambridge and go, yo, Cambridge, yo, why are you charging for the higher knowledge, Cambridge? Huh?
Exactly. Exactly.
Man pay Cambridge. Man pay Cambridge. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, look, I got my Cambridge Bible. Oh, I went to this university. Did you go there for free? No, you didn't, man. Come on. You understand me? I was having a conversation not so long ago with some pastors, and they were like, oh, so what college did you go to? When they saw me go through the Bible, and so I said I went to the Gathering of Christ Church Hebrew and Bible Academy. Yes, I graduated at top of my class. I was tutored by Professor Rawchaa and Professor Lawya. Yeah.
Hey man, hey, all praises to the Most High. All praises. And just to land back, just to land back what you were saying. Not only, I'm gonna let you come back in. Not only were they in the theologian colleges using the Rapture video as a teaching tool, they were also using the tongues video that we did a few years ago on the street. When we were on the street speaking about tongues, they were using that also in the theologian seminary colleges as a teaching tool. So while people are complaining about what we charge for the little we do charge for the academy, those who are charging hundreds of times that amount are using those same exact videos or teachings that are out there for free and turning them into profit by using them as their teaching sources. But go ahead, Elder Gaja.
No, I'm done. You with me? Like I said, there's a lot of things out there. You understand me? A lot of things being sprouted by the spiritual embryos. You understand? That's all I can put it at.
We'll keep them in prayer. There are people nonetheless, so we'll definitely keep them in prayer. And you know what, Elder Gaja, let's get some of these brothers and sisters into the show. Let's get their questions. Let's get their statements, their concerns, or whatever they have for us. Let's take it in, and we'll try to address their needs as much as possible.
All right, man. Sounds like a plan, man. And Brother Balas in the background right now answering the calls. My brother, enough love. Thank you so much. If you're just tuning into the broadcast, you're into the Search Engine International with Elders Lawya and Gaja. Go into the first caller here. Caller from the 216 area code.
Yeah,
Shalom.
Elder. Shalom.
Shalom.
This is saxophone player. You
Bless
met
you,
me
brother. How you
before.
doing?
Yeah, we remember you, brother, from Ohio. I remember. How you doing,
Yeah.
brother?
I saw the thing about Iran and Trump and everything like that, and Iran talking about blowing up that strait. Nobody's going to get through there if we can't get oil. And his rhetoric is steaming up quick. And Elder Rawchaa said that was a marker.
Absolutely, it is. It's definitely a marker.
Yeah. They tripping hard, man. You know, he trying to get away from his problems, and he trying to deflect and go into something else there. But the Most High is watching him.
Who you talking about, Trump?
Yeah, Rump. Donald Rump.
Okay, he called him Rump.
Yeah.
And let me say this as, hey, I have no bones about that, but let me say this also, brother. Let me get your name again.
It's Brother Barnes.
Brother
Sax
Barnes.
player.
Brother Barnes. Okay. Brother Barnes, the sax player. Let me say this, and I'm saying this for the sake of all those who are listening. Okay? We know that the president that is sitting in the United States seat of presidency is the official, what they would consider the leader of the new world. No matter how much they drum up the news, and every day you're hearing about something about Trump, him doing something either idiotic, him doing something, promoting him in a way to put him in the light of stupidity. Or on the other side, you hear those who are, the apologists, the Trump apologists, those who are advocates for Trump, and, it's a back and forth argument, and it keeps the sheep and those who can't see, the trees, the forest from the trees, it keeps them in that back and forth argument of divide. Not realizing that the brother, or the guy, not the brother, let me correct that immediately, but the guy that's sitting in the seat of presidency is nothing more than a figurehead, a puppet.
Right.
Okay? So when they tell you that Trump wants to go to war with Iran, Trump don't want to do anything but whatever Trump does whatever he does. Okay? Run hotels, or, listen, I don't even believe he does that, to be honest with you. I think he's even a figurehead when it comes to that. But nonetheless, when they talk about Trump wanting war with Iran, what they're really saying is that Israel and the special interest groups that are behind the presidency seat, the people that don't change every 4 to 8 years, those people want war with Iran. Trump is just a new face, the new figurehead that they're using to politicize, to put a celebrity face behind what they want to do in the Middle East. Okay? Now, the beautiful thing about it, even though it is a very, it's a very telling sign of the times we're in, the beautiful thing about it is that we, being the children of the Most High, upon whom the Most High has had mercy, we have the opportunity to go on the Bible and see it prophesied, how it's going to go down exactly before it even happens, giving us the opportunity and the time to repent and to prepare for what's to come in this earth. So that's why we thank the Most High. But nonetheless, hey, brother, it's definitely a telltale sign of what's to come.
John.
All right. So Brother Barnes, the sax player, we're going to put you back in the queue, brother. Thank you for your comment.
Bienvenue. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right. All right. Thank you, brother. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, Elder Gaja, you got anything to say on that?
Not really, man. I mean, it's not if they're going to war, it's just when. You with me? Bible prophecy being fulfilled. So, the truth be told, Elder Lawya, I haven't really been following the news for a minute now because, it's smoke, mirrors, and actors, and it's Hollywood, So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, I could care less what he says or do because I'm following the Bible right now, so
Absolutely. There's no better news in the world than the Bible. So go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, the Bible stands true. You with me? I believe honestly that the amount of things that the amount of time this guy comes on TV and talks, it's an illusion, it's a distraction. There's something else going on that's more sinister on the undercurrent. You with me? So they're giving the cheerleaders. You with me? It tells you in Revelation, the 17th chapter, that they're gonna burn the whore. You understand me? And if anybody is a poster boy to burn the whore, it's this guy. So I mean,
absolutely.
Come on, but yeah, man. But that's all I have to say on that. So we can actually go to the next caller. Caller from the 347 area code, brother Nestle from New York. New York in the building.
Shalom, brothers Gaja and brother Lawya. I'd like to thank y'all guys for the academy, man. Since I've been academy like 5 times, and every time I've gone into it, I always learn something new every time, especially with the promise seed and the 4 beasts of Daniel. I'd like to thank y'all guys for the academy. Second thing, I'm in New York, and I know y'all guys gather for the Sabbath, but I wanted to know, do y'all gather on the other days in New York?
Yes, there are other. Yes, there are other days throughout the week that there are gatherings, either meetings, Bible studies, or what have you. What we can do is, let me ask: are you in contact with Elder Gabar at all?
No. I remember I got his number, but I never have a chance to really call him.
Okay.
But
what you want to do is get in contact with Elder Gabar. He can give you the schedule, the weekly schedule for the operation and the classes throughout the week in the New York body. Okay.
All right. And a second thing, I wanted to know, I've been baptized in the Christian church, but do I have to be baptized again within the new knowledge that I have now?
The answer is yes, and I'm going to explain why, if you give me the opportunity.
Yes.
Okay. This is the book of Acts, chapter 19, verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass that while Apollos was at Corinth, Paul, having passed through the upper coast, came to Ephesus, and finding certain disciples, he said unto them, Have ye received the Holy Spirit since ye believed? And they said unto him, We have not so much as heard whether there be any Holy Spirit. And he said unto them, Unto what then were ye baptized? And they said, Unto John's baptism. Then said Paul, John verily baptized with the baptism of repentance, saying unto the people that they should believe on him which should come after him, that is, on Yeshua the Christ, or Yeshua the Anointed. When they heard this, they were baptized in the name of the Lord Yeshua." So what is this showing? This here is an example of those who were once baptized under the baptism of John. Now, of course, we know that John's baptism was a righteous baptism in preparation for Christ's baptism and Christ's gospel ministry. Okay? But this is an example of people being rebaptized in the understanding of Christ. Now, for our brothers and sisters who were once baptized in the Christian church, number one, more than likely you were baptized under the doctrine of another Christ. And under that baptism of another Christ, you didn't receive the true understanding of what it takes to keep that garment clean after baptism, how to stand, how to war in the spiritual warfare after you're baptized. So what we tell brothers and sisters is that, listen, the same way those who were baptized under John who were re-baptized under Christ, if you were baptized under another Christ in the Christian church, when you come here and get the true understanding of how to war and keep your garment clean after your baptism, come into the water under the true name and doctrine of the Most High Christ and the Holy Spirit. And hopefully that anointing of the Holy Spirit can come upon you so that you can fight in war after your true baptism. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem, brother.
Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, Brother Nestle, just putting you back in the queue. And that's Elder Lawya, can you hear me?
Nice and clearly.
Yeah, that's a common question that we get asked when people come to the truth. You know, a lot of people have been baptized within the Christian church before, and they ask if they should, get baptized again. And yes, you just broke it down, but I just wanted to just add a little bit more on it. When you go into the Christian church and you go into that water, the Christian church don't teach you that once you go into that water, you must come out and keep the laws of the Most High under Christ. They don't teach you that. And we understand the spiritual significance of baptism. That once one goes into the water and come back out, be it once you receive the gifts of the Holy Spirit, any spiritual battle you've been having or spirit you've been dealing with since birth have to move. They have to leave you, but when they leave, they don't go far. They stay lingering, and they look for an opportunity to get back. And if you weren't told how to keep them off, or not informed of how to fight that battle, then you're gonna end up 8 times worse than how you were at the beginning. And it's very key that people understand that. Understand that it's not just knowing that He is, but it's also getting the testimony of Christ in truth. Just wanted to add that to it.
Absolutely, and to ensure, to ensure that brothers and sisters understand the importance of what to follow after baptism and to fight against those spirits that come afterwards, we have a pre-baptism course, pre-baptism lessons. You understand? So before you even get into the water, you have you're taught the knowledge of what must be done, what you must do immediately after you get out of that water. Okay?
Absolutely. All right. Moving on to the next caller. Caller from the 404 area code. We have Brother TC from Georgia.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom.
Shalom, elders. Yeah, I just, I'm getting in a little late. If I'm understanding correctly, the precedence of the show was the dichotomy between secular Christianity today versus the truth in the Hebrew Israelite idealization. Am I accurate with that?
No, what it was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, what it was, Brother TC, is that the show today was titled "Express Yourself," and we wanted to come in and talk to the brothers and sisters and hear, their testimony, if they had any questions or any requests, that they would like, or any, any comments. But before we went into that, we started off speaking about the difference or the comparison of modern Christianity as opposed to the first century church and what the first century church followed, because we find that most people, for most people within the church, within the truth, would understand that there's a difference between what the Bible says and what we see in modern Christianity. But it's more, I was more tailoring the conversation for people who have never heard the truth yet and would be listening in and saying, okay, what are these guys talking about? Like, what, in our communities we see a church on every corner. Okay, there's churches, but yet still the crime goes up. yet still that, the ills of the people still increase. So if the churches are here and the place still is getting increasingly wicked, then the church is not a part of the solution, but more a part of the problem.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So this was how we were how we were preferencing the conversation earlier before. That's all.
Okay. I got the gist of it. Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting because, like I said, I was able to listen in kind of intermittently and had to kind of tune off and get back in. But it's also kind of working along the lines of what I've been dealing with. And I had a good friend of mine who is the deputy district attorney over a renowned metropolis. I'm not going to give that city just for the sake of anonymity, but he called me and he was like, "Hey, big bro, I know you're like dealing in this truth," and he's still dealing in the post-Constantine Christianity. Okay, so he asked me from time to time about certain things, and he's moving up in the spectrum, and also he's looking for spiritual clarity. And I had a few scriptures, these few that I'm just kind of wanting to read out there, and then I have a question at the end. I don't want to take up too much time. But he was inquiring about, he asked me, he said, "Man, I feel like I'm thrown here and there, like sometimes, like I'm very confused sometimes, like I'm trying to be the man that I know that I am, that I want to be, that I desire to be spiritually and so forth. But I'm having issues with that." And I was like, I could totally identify with this. So I think it not ironic that that phone call took place today, and I hardly ever listen in to you guys real time. And so, I just wanted to, because this is something that I'm struggling with as well, and that is when you can be, I think, dealing with post-Constantine Christianity and dealing in the truth, as well as even being in the truth, and maybe having a level of arrogance at some point because of the knowledge that's been bestowed upon you, it could easily be lost. And this is something that I wanted to bring forth. 1 Timothy 4, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils." That was something like that I experienced when I went into that water and I was baptized underneath GOCC about 6 years ago. And I was told about that scripture where, listen, if when you come up out of this water, if you walk away from the faith, there will be 7 other spirits that will come back in that clean vessel and take precedent over you. And therefore confusion comes. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick. And that led me to the next. And I was dealing with a lot of confusion. I have a lot of prominent people that call me that have to deal with a lot of confusion, family members. And then it goes to James 1:8. "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." And I was dealing with that. I'm actually still dealing with that to some magnitude, in all honesty, because I'm getting back to the Father. I'm not going to lie. The Holy Spirit was there in me, dwelling with me, absolutely loving it. And sometimes I question, why did I relinquish that? Well, then it takes me to the next scripture, Psalms 81:12. And again, I'm hoping that this can be edification, because I think sometimes we as followers of the truth can pretend like we're righteous when that Sabbath passes, and we're back and we're by ourselves in our home. What are those things that we're partaking in? Because I'm not going to lie, I know that I have. And it's taking me down a darker road, and I'm having to dig myself out of this spiritual ditch. And so that took me to Psalms 81:12. So I gave them over to their stubborn hearts to follow their own devices. And then going to the next one, Wisdom of Solomon, and this is the one I'll conclude on. "For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit and remove from thoughts that are without understanding, and will not abide when unrighteousness comes in." And that was the whole thing that happened to me. That's the thing that I'm still digging myself out of this spiritual ditch. And I want to let y'all know, I love y'all for bringing forth this truth in the world, because it's few and far in between. But I also wanted to let it be known that I know that there are other brothers and sisters out there that are dealing with the same things that I've been dealing with. Yeah, you're in the truth, but then do you go back? Do you return back to the vomit? Are you returning back to some of those sinful ways?
Hey, brother TC, let me add something to you, my brother, right? And I you know, I hope this can help you, and also anybody else out there who listening in, right? Let me tell you something. One of the easiest ways, right, or the best ways I have seen in order for me to relay the truth to anybody else, they have to see it in me. Meaning that it can't be like, for example, like family and friends. You can't convince family and friends of this truth, right, if they don't see that truth in you. And I've been saying this in a few of the classes I've been teaching lately. Listen, a lot of us cannot invite family and friends to class. You know why? Because we are Israelites in our minds. We have accepted the truth only in our heads, but our actions is not showing that. And until we can show that, you understand, my brother? Until it starts to manifest, where people can look and say, "Yo, you know something? I see a difference in you, brother Gaja. I see a difference in you, brother Lawya. I see a difference." Until the people closest to us see that, all of this is just talk. You understand me? So
absolutely,
we have to come out. Yeah, we have to come out of just being Israelites in the mind. You understand? We have to be Israelites in the walk, in the action of what we do. It can't just be, let me go to Sabbath class today, let me say Shabbat Shalom to some people, and then come sundown, I am back into my old ways. You understand me? It can't be that. You are going to become unfruitful being like that. You understand me? And if you want to spread this word and be a light to anybody else, you have to first shine the light. You understand, my brother? But you know, bless you, man, and thank you for your participation in this call. You understand? And I hope your friend who you mentioned earlier, I hope you're able to show him the way and how to separate modern Christianity or secular Christianity from the pre-Constantine works that the disciples did under Christ. But you have to first be that light. You can't be double-minded. He has to see that in you. You understand me?
Yeah. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that so much. If I may, I have a question, and then I don't want to take too much time. Isaiah 65:20, I was reading it. If you guys might be able to go over that scripture. I know that's during the 1,000-year reign that Christ will be on earth. And I was just wondering about where it spoke about, for a child shall die 100 years old. And I was just wondering about that because I didn't, maybe you guys might be able to bring some edification and clarity on that, Elder Lawya and Elder Gaja. Appreciate the time.
All right, my brother, bless you.
Absolutely. Shalom.
All right. Shalom, brother. Thank you. All right. So, yes, that is a very, very good question, Brother TC. So let's go into that, Elder Gaja. Okay. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 20.
All right. Let me get it. I'll read it. And it reads, reading from the book of Isaiah chapter 65, verse 20. There shall be no more thence any infant of days, nor any old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed.
Exactly. So what is the Most High relaying in this prophecy? Okay. What is he showing us in this prophecy concerning the kingdom? Okay, concerning the time in which all things are restored and order is restored in the earth. Christ has come back to the earth to restore his people, to restore the law, and also cause all the nations, all the rulers of this earth to bow and confess that he is Lord. Well, what's taking place is a reversal of what we see in today's society, in this current state of the earth where things are turned upside down. Like it tells us in the book of Psalms 82, I believe the 6th verse, if my memory serves me correct, but correct me if I'm wrong, please. It tells us that the earth is out of course. Okay? The whole earth is out of course, and the inhabitants know it not. So what is this showing us? Okay? Well, in order to understand this, we're going to go to a few quick precepts, starting in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 12. And you can read that for me, brother and Elder Gaja.
Okay, reading from the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Ahia, which fear before him.
Exactly. So it starts off by telling us that though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged. Meaning what? In this current state of the earth, this corrupt state, this fallen state, okay, which is out of course, we see that sinners do evil 100 times and their days are prolonged. Okay? We don't see any immediate judgment taking place in the earth. Okay? And we often ask ourselves this question: why do drug dealers live to see, 60, 70 years old? Okay? A guy like a Frank Lucas or what have you, which I believe died just recently a few years ago, was a drug dealer, but yet lived a long, what some may consider, to some degree, a prosperous life. If you look at others, murderers, what have you, they seem to live, for the most part, corrupt men, long lives, which to some degree are prosperous. And even David prayed against this, or prayed about this, okay? But what the Bible is showing us, that though a sinner sin or do evil 100 times, and his days seem to be prolonged, yet surely we know that it shall be well with them that fear the Lord. Meaning, on this side of the earth, the sinner seems to be winning. But on the other side, when Christ returns and restores that order, we know that it shall be well with them that fear the Lord. They're going to come out on top when it comes to a prolonged, prosperous life.
Mm-hmm.
Read on, verse 13.
Verse 13. But it shall not be well with the wicked.
It shall not be well with the wicked. Salakia, it shall not be well with the wicked. So it looks well for them now. It looks prosperous for them now. But in the time to come, it shall not be well with the wicked. Mm-hmm. Okay, read on.
Neither shall he prolong his days.
Neither shall he prolong his days. What days? The days of eternity. Read on.
Which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before the Most High.
Okay. Now let's go up to verse. Let me see here. Okay, that's it on that. Let's go to the book of Job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Job 5?
Yes.
Okay. The book of Job 5, verses 26. That's the one you're looking for?
Khan.
Reading, Thou shalt come to thy grave in a full age, like as a rock of corn cometh in its season. Right.
So just showing you that, of course, we know in the kingdom that there shall be no death, but we're just showing you on a small level, okay, on this side, how those who are righteous will come, or will be able to come to a full age, okay? So basically, bringing it back to what we read in the book of Isaiah 65, verse 20, there shall be no more thence an infant of days, okay? Mm-hmm. Meaning, there shall be no longer an infant living a short period of time, understanding that our lifespans have been shortened through sin, okay? Mm-hmm. As David said, a man, if he lives to see 70 years old, he's blessed, and he's even more blessed if he's able to see 80 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to the time span that the Most High intended, which is 1,000 years of life, that's a very short time. That's like an infant compared to 1,000 years. Okay? So no longer shall there be an infant of days. The Most High is going to prolong life when order is restored. Nor an old man that have filled not his days. Okay? So you're going to fulfill your life in the time of Christ's kingdom. For the child shall die 100 years old, meaning a childhood, 100 years old is going to be like childhood. Okay? Before you go into the next stage of life. Okay? Because again, what Christ has in store for those who serve him is what? 1,000 years. But the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. Okay? So those who are sinners, though they live prolonged lives on this side of the earth, when it comes time to Christ's kingdom, they won't even make it into the kingdom. They will be destroyed. Okay? As it tells us in Amos, the 9th chapter, all the sinners of my people shall be slain with the sword. Okay? All right. Anything else on that, Elder Gaja?
Just over to the next chapter, in chapter 66. Let me get it. It says 15, verses 15.
All right, I'll read
it. It says here. Okay, go ahead.
All right. You said 66?
66 and 15, yes.
6:15? All right, I got you. All right, one moment here. All right, Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire. With chariots like... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right. And with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebukes with flames of fire.
So that's what's going to happen on the coming of Christ. It's going to be rebukes with flames of fire. So this 100-year-old sinner is a curse. You understand? Christ isn't going to regard that. He's going to die. He's going to be taken out. You understand? You know, and it's, you know, on the flip of it, 100-year-old is infant. It's a child. So he's being taken out in infancy of life under Christ's reign. So there's no prolonging for that. It ends there. That's judgment. It ends for him. You understand me? So on the coming of Christ, you know, there's no negotiation right here. You understand? So people ask, you hear the question, people say, oh, so when Christ come, okay, are we gonna be able to get baptized now? For those people who didn't believe or didn't want, because of seeing Christ? The answer is no. You had your chance. You had the grace. You had the opportunity to change, to repent, to then to follow Christ. There's no there's no gray area. The next verse, please.
God, verse number 16. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
And the slain of the Lord shall be many. So the Lord is going to kill some people on his return. You understand? This is what it's saying. So when we look at what's going over here, that they are cursed. 100 years, a man's 100 years and a curse. What's that? Yo, he's a sinner. A sinner. He's on the coming of Christ. Yo, he's stubble for the fire. That's what they're saying there. Alright? So, yes. I hope that answers that.
Right. Alright, Elder Gaja, let's get to the next call here.
Alright, where am I here? The last caller was Brother TC. Is he still in? No, he's out. Alright, let's go to Sister Matador from Georgia, from the 770 area code. Shalom, sister.
Good evening, elders. How are you?
Blessed.
Good evening, Sister. Shalom.
Hi, Elder Lawya. I just have a quick comment about the academy. Excuse me. I was just listening, but I couldn't help but to comment because I really hate when people talk against the academy because I see it on social media all the time as well. And I probably have taken the academy at least 13 or 14 times, probably would have been more, but there was some I had to skip where I couldn't fit it in. Most Christian churches, not just the mega churches, even small churches, most of them have bookstores. And I've experienced that. You know, after church, the church I used to go to, church is over, there will be a line in the bookstore where people get either their coffee, their snacks, where they're buying, you know, extra books and stuff, and they would even be buying the sermon that we just listened to from the pastor. And, you know, we were happy to do it. It's only $5, and there was a time when up to $6. If you support the church, nobody ever complained about that. Nobody, even if you're not talking about purchasing the sermon after church, most churches do it. You go in the bookstore, and they sell books and Bibles, and we buy it freely without a problem. And you can go on GOCC's website, even if it's a book you don't have on hand physically, you know, such as Hebrewism of First Africa and other books that are on there for free for people to use. And I don't know if people are not seeing that or if they just want to talk. Sometimes I just want to ignore it, and I just wish, you know, we wouldn't respond to it, but, you know, you can't help it. People don't complain when it's time to do other things. I don't know why they complain about the academy. And as for me, you know, the academy for me, like just like this past lesson, the split of the split between Israel and Judah, I've done that 1,000 times, and it was like brand new to me again, like I've never done it. And I just completed it today. I'm not able to do the academy live because of work, but just the recording and the resources that you get. And I'm just saying this lastly, the academy is not for everybody. In my opinion, you really don't need it to make it, and you don't know what you're missing by not joining the academy. The lessons that we get on Saturdays, for some people, I guess that's just enough. And, you know, listening to the radio show on Wednesdays is enough. But I don't know anybody who's done the academy once and has not said, you know, I want to do it again. And it's not for everyone. If you don't like it, and I've never seen anybody who didn't like it. But my point was, when we go to the Christian bookstores, we easily, you know, buy the actual word or words that men have written that they've taken from the Bible and making it their own, and we buy those because we think we're supporting the church. And the academy is only $50, and people complain about that. Well, for me, that's part of my budget. When I'm doing my monthly budget, the academy is included in it. So that's what I want to say.
Well, sister, number one, first and foremost, thank you for your continual support of the academy. And before you go, I want to ask you a quick question. Okay? You being I guess what you would call a veteran of the academy, 13 or 14 times then. Okay?
Yes.
Let me ask you. You making this a part of your budget and making it an effort to be there almost every single academy. Do you feel like you've been robbed after the academy is finished or after you paid for the academy?
No, it's there's a word we use. I wish I knew how to say it in English. If any Levi is listening, called PI. I think that's a way of saying free. I just think it's I don't know the word for it, but it's almost like when you I don't know. You ever been to a store where you got something on sale? I've been there, where you're like, oh my gosh, this was such a good deal. I feel like I robbed them. That's how I feel. Cause okay, so I'm in retail. On Sundays, this is my the days that I have to work on Sundays. So on Sunday morning, I'm getting ready. I tune in at 9 a.m. and I'm running around with my phone because I'm doing the Hebrew part. And you know, I'm not able to sit down like I used to, and I really miss that. I'm getting back to that now. And then when I get in my car, I'm, you know, by the time I get in my car, it's probably time for the news, and I get to work, and I don't want to hang up the phone. But I have a Bluetooth in my ears, and I have customers, and that time I'll just, you know, put the phone down and come back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're still here. The next thing I know, just from the lesson alone, not just that's after the news. That's after the Hebrew part and the news. I'm like, wow, they've been there for like 3 to 4 hours. And I think you guys spend your whole day. That's like school. And, I love that about that. So I don't know why, to me, that's a giveaway. $50 a month is nothing. And, yes, I would pay more if it was more. Because to me, that's, that's a way to support it. And I look at it as at first I used to be like, well, I'm doing it again because I want to support the church. But every time I do the lesson, I'm like, okay, that's the same lesson. But there's no way. Like, listening to the lesson, doing the lesson, just, hearing you and the Elder Rawchaa going into the split between Israel and Judah, there's always something new, always. And how he went into Ephraim when he said, back then, how when, they were the first ones to actually lose their land, and they went through almost more than what the southern tribe went through. Not to compare it, misery is misery, but how back then you were calling them Gentiles because they were mixed with the nations, and we're still doing that today. It didn't hit me until I was doing the lesson. I was like, wow, we're still doing that. It's the same thing. So I always get something new, always, and I have multiple, notebooks with notes. Just this time I haven't been able to take notes, but I record it, and I'll go back to it. It's feeding me even while I'm driving, because sometimes I do radio, but I don't always do radio. I benefit a whole lot, or I wouldn't be coming back. And I really wanted to comment on that because I do see people still talking about it, in social media and Facebook. And I'm like, well, if you don't like it, don't do it. And those people were talking about it, they haven't done it. There's no way you could possibly do the academy and not return if you really like the truth, if you really like the word. And it's not for everyone. If what you're getting on Saturdays is enough, then, that's great. But, just like the word said, taste and see. Taste and see.
Well, sister, thank you again for your support. And I got one more request, one more small request before you go, because I know somebody is going to listen to this broadcast, and they're going to say, they must have paid that sister to give that testimony concerning the academy. Sister, please confirm that we did not pay you. We did not call you beforehand and say, sister, come on and give a testimony and broadcast about the academy. Please confirm that before you go, sister.
Absolutely not. No sense, but no. High maintenance. You guys couldn't pay me enough. But no, I did not get paid. I truly love the academy, and that will forever be part of my life. I can't do without the academy. There was a time that I did skip, and I didn't know what to do. And, on top of that, there was a time I did pick the academy, and then when it was time for the second installment, I didn't ask you guys. I don't know who did it. I said, I'll send the other payment, the following week. I think it was like academy number 9 or something like that. But you guys offered. Well, sister, you've been supporting us. Don't worry. I hope this helps. You all paid in full for the rest of the academy. And I didn't even ask. And I remember sharing that email with my sister, like, oh my gosh, can you believe they did that? I didn't even ask. All I said was I'll send the payment, the following week or the week after. And you guys offered to, take up the rest, which I really do appreciate. I think I did send an email saying thank you. But I do. It's not about the money, from what I've experienced.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the academy.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you, sister, for that testimony. Thank you for your call. We're going to put you back in the queue, sister. You enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay?
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay. And hey, what need we say more, right? Elder Gaja concerning the academy. What need we say more? Elder Gaja, you still with me?
Sorry about that. My mic was on mute. Excuse me. Listen, Elder, let me tell you. I was there, and I'm like, yo, listen, I need more of this academy. You understand me? It's just, me and you sat to the side, and edging to go and to go into to the next segment of the broadcast, and it was beautiful. You with me? Like it was, it was beautiful, man. So, man, I'm telling you. So, all right, Elder. Let me go to the next caller. We got Brother Cornelius from New York. I think that's North Carolina from the 828 area code. Shalom, brother.
Shalom, elders. My question is for Elder Gaja. Elder Lawya. When you did the legions are coming, I was wanting to know because my wife constantly asks me, what will be the women's role with the spiritual bodies that we will have after Christ gets back? Because I don't know what to tell her right now.
Okay. So that's a very good question. Now, when you say what will be the women's role when Christ returns, explain.
Right. Like, you know how you described how the men, we'll have the bodies to fight and, the like superhero bodies or whatever. And she really wants to know because she don't think the women fight in the wars or whatever. So what roles do you think the women will be playing when Christ get back?
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, brother, I'm going to get your name again. Cornelius, right?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, Brother Cornelius, the scriptures don't speak incessantly or it doesn't go deeply or specify what the role of the women will be during that time period, during the war or what have you. Now, if there is information on that goes into that, we would gladly go into it and bring forward what role the women will play during that time period. We do know, if we're examining scriptures from what the Most High gives us concerning the army and concerning those who will be raised up, it will be an army of, with Christ at the head, okay, the 144,000 who are sealed men of the Most High, the sealed elect, okay? So we know that they will play a major part in the war to come. What role the women and maybe the children will play, that unless Elder Gaja lets you have anything, explicitly that goes into that, I'm not even going to try to philosophize, what role the women will play during that time period.
No, I don't have any scripture, anything with scriptures what women will be playing, but that's I think it's a question for when we get there. I'm more focusing on getting to that point. You understand that I'm actually seeing this happen, and the Messiah can come and say, "Yo, listen, boom, all right, good job, fall to the back of the line." You with me?
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah.
As they say, I want to be in that number when the saints come marching in. So, as long as we're in that number, as long as we're there, and of course the women will be sealed, as we touched on in prior lessons. The same way families were sealed under houses, so on and so forth, families will be sealed. Women and children will be sealed under the elect. Okay, but as far as what role they're going to play in the actual warfare, there's nothing that I've read specifically concerning that, Brother Cornelius.
All right, man. I'll put the brother back in the call queue. Brother Cornelius, just push one. That will take you out of the question line. Let me move to the next caller from the 816 area code. There's no name here, but let me just go here. Caller from the 816 area code. You are live on Blog Talk.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. This is Brother Barzal here in KC. I had a couple of questions, Elder, just trying to clear up a couple of things. One was about the kingdom, and I knew the columns that were understood as far as who would be in judgment and where they would be. I know those who were dead will rise in Christ, and those that were dead or in hell in the torment side, that they would remain down there for another 1,000 years to the other end. And then those who are righteous in Christ will live on and avoid the second resurrection. I understand that. And also the Gog and Magog with the Antichrist and Antichrist party, those, once the second resurrection and the books are open, they will be judged along with those who remained in hell for the 1,000 years. my question is, what is the process of judgment for those who may walk straight into the kingdom? I know the scriptures were saying everyone would be judged to some degree. They bypass that type of judgment, going straight into the kingdom, never seeing death, and never standing before the books of life? That was my first question.
Okay. That's a very good question. Now, when you say those who walk directly into the kingdom, you mean those who are found worthy at the return of Christ. Will they go before any level of judgment?
That is correct. Those who actually lived and breathed to the kingdom when Christ came, when they saw the darkness and everything, and they weren't taken out, as well as those who were already remaining in the torments.
That's a very good question. First and foremost, when we go to the book of 1 Corinthians 15, this actually goes into Christ's return and those who are found worthy, both the dead as well as the living during that time. 1 Corinthians 15, verse number 50, it says, "Now I say this, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, neither do of corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep," meaning we shall not all die before Christ's return. There's going to be many living at the return of Christ, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, meaning at the return of Christ. "For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed," meaning both the dead as well as the living. "For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass saying, that is written, Death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory?" So this is I guess you would say, this is the future of those who are found worthy, both dead and alive, at the return of Christ. They will be changed at his return without any, I guess you would say, immediate form of judgment or having to, to stand before the Father and go through what those who have to go through the second death will have to go through. And to show that, we're going to go to Revelations 20, okay, where it speaks about that second death. Revelations 20 and 4. "And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yeshua, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again till the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection." So if you go through that process, if you make it and are worthy during that first resurrection, the Bible says that you're blessed. Okay? Why? Because you're not going through that, that horror of standing before the Father to answer for the things that you have done in this earth. Okay? It says, "On such the second death have no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years." Now, there will be a purification process when Christ returns. The Bible speaks of a fire, okay? Or there'll be a period where fire will come and it will douse everyone, both righteous and unrighteous. And those who do not make it through that fire will be burnt and judged by that fire. That same fire will purify the righteous and cause the righteous to eventually receive that change, that purification, that you understand, that incorruptible body. Okay? So It says here in verse number 7, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle. The number of whom is as the sand of the sea, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city. Fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them, and the devil deceived them that was cast into the lake of fire. So now we're going to jump down to the second death. Okay? Verse number 13, or verse number 11, and I saw a great white throne and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. So this is that process that we often see either depicted in movies or, in other depictions where people are standing before the throne and they're now answering for everything that they've done in this earth. Okay? Verse 13 says, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and the dead and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. Is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So that's the destiny of those who did not make it, and I guess you would say the first trip, so to speak, and are now standing before the Most High, standing before the judgment seat, answering for what they've done, and afterwards they will be judged, okay, according to their works. Okay? So does that answer your question? Is that clear, or is there still some misunderstanding?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate that. Now, the phase right prior to that is my second question, when they were saying that we would go up under the rod once we're in the wilderness. My question at that point would be, that's before Christ. Now, is that stating that being on the rod replaces grace?
Okay.
Before Christ,
let me get the understanding.
Return.
Let me get the biblical understanding of being under the rod.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay. And Elder Gaja, if you have anything you want to add, please, you can always jump in.
No, man, I'm good, thank you. I'm in the book of Ezekiel 20, and
oh yeah, you can read that if you have it.
Ezekiel 20 and verse 33, and it reads, As I live, saith the Most High Power, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you, and I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, and I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, saith the Most High Power. And I will cause
now, before you continue, you remember that scripture we read earlier in the book of Isaiah 66, where it says that the Most High pleads with all flesh, with with fire and by the sword. Okay, so this ain't a baby please kind of pleading. This is either you listen, either you follow, get in order, or fire and sword will be your judgment. Okay, read on.
Verse 37, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am the Most High Power.
Right. So now the Most High is going to bring us into the bond of that covenant. Okay, meaning there's no more excuse after that point. You got to get it together. Okay, you must be in order to make it through that time period, because that's a time of deep purging. And hey, we can only pray that we're found worthy to make it to that point. Okay, and to give some more understanding on going under the rod, Elder God, if you can go to the book of Leviticus chapter 27, verse number 32.
32.
Reading from Leviticus chapter 27, verse 32. And concerning the tithe of the herd, or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod. The tenth shall be holy unto the Most High.
Right. So under the old covenant, when it came to the types of the herd, everything that passeth under the rod, 1 out of every 10 of the flock that passed under the rod belonged to the Most High. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, 10% belong to the Most High of all those flocks that passed under the rod. So when we go under the rod, the same way the Most High would pick 1 out of 10 of those sheep in the old covenant, the Most High is going through that same process with his people. Okay? So if he's only picking that 1 out of 10, that 10th that go under the rod, that means that this is a deep time of purging where a lot of people are going to meet their judgment, their demise. Okay? And again, we can only pray that the Most High find us worthy. He has, as the Bible says, he will have mercy on whom he will have mercy. We can only pray in that time that he has some level of mercy on us so that we can make it through that time period, because it's going to be very trying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's the time period that it replaces grace. That purging at that point, grace no longer applies, so to speak?
Yes, during that time, brother, we are under the bond of the covenant. We're responsible for keeping the Most High's commandments without any excuse. Okay?
That's good. I appreciate that. Just want to let you know I appreciate the teachings from the academy. I've been in it 11 times, and like the young lady said before, it never gets old, and you learn different facets. Remember, you guys are sharing one topic in 3-hour course, and of course the next time around you have to go into idumia or just focus on one part. This is the history of the world, so you just wouldn't be able to cover it all anyway in 1 week's course. So I do appreciate it, and it's worth every penny. It's no more than a cell phone bill anyway, so it's definitely worth the budget. And I do appreciate it. If you have another one coming up, I'll be in it too. Be number 12.
Right, and before you go, brother, we got one request.
Mm-hmm.
People going to hear this, and they're going to say that, well, he's been in, this brother, is no way possible. He could have been in the academy 11 times. That's an impossibility. Brothers, let the people know that you are a true caller, you are a true inductee or a true attendee of the academy, first and foremost, and that we did not call you beforehand or pay you to make this phone call.
Oh, no, that didn't happen because I pay for the academy, so there's nothing to laugh about. So the deal is, it's a good thing with it. And with me, I never really follow you guys live, and I appreciate the benefit of getting it emailed to me so I can watch it later. I probably won't pull it up to about Wednesday or Thursday. If I need to pause it, I will. If I need to run and do something and come back, I can. So that's the convenience of it, to where I do get to slow it down and rewind it and get more information and hear something twice, So people think they have to sit in front of it. I appreciate you, brothers. I understand if people say something about if that was the case as far as it being fraudulent with selling them knowledge or what have you, but if you brothers wasn't so consistent, that's the trying part about it. It's not like 1 or 2 times. I mean, you constantly hear and you sit there in front of the camera where I get the leisure of pushing pause and going back and forth, and then you're there on Saturday, and then you're there here on Wednesday. So the consistency is there to where you don't have much else to do. I mean, you can't do much else if you're doing this work, so it's very valid. And like they say,
that's right.
You don't muzzle the ox to tread its corn, and you are worthy of your hire. I appreciate it. Like I said before, I appreciate the egos.
Well, brother, all praises to the Most High.
Yes, sir. Shalom.
All right, shalom.
Shalom. My brother, put you back in the queue. I'm going to move to the next column. And hey, listen, if you haven't been into the academy, just try. Like the brother said, it's a cell phone bill. You with me?
That's right.
We pay for things. We pay more for things. Oh no! What's up, brother? Yeah, we pay more for things that have no benefit. You understand? And it's like, I mean, just try it, man. Try it out and see what happens, because and this is the point that needs to be emphasized. There's no one academy that's the same. There's no dealing with a topic that's the same, because why? There are different facets in the topics that the Spirit will lead you into. That brings out understanding each time you go over it. You understand me? And the thing about it, brothers and sisters listening in, right? You owe it to yourself to get that information, walking in this truth. You understand? You owe it to yourself to equip yourself with that knowledge, to have it as a tool, ready to pull it out, to have it within your arsenal. It's invaluable. You understand me? A brother, I'm gonna put this out on the radio. There's a reggae artist called Sizzler, who put it out on a big show the other day that the people in Jamaica are the Israelites, are the Hebrew Israelites, and they must actually go online and get the information, because a lot of the information that they would have to pay a lot of money for in the past is now there, readily accessible. You understand me? So he's telling the people, go and get it. People, go and get the information whilst it's there. Utilize the elders them whilst they're there. Like, you're in a congregation and you have an elder there, man, go sit at his feet, go learn. You understand me? Go learn, go and get that knowledge. Because why? A time is coming, where let me get that out of the book of Amos real quick. I think it's Amos 8 and 14 I'm looking for. Hosea 8. 1 second here, let me find it. Here, where it tells you about the knowledge and about the famine of knowledge, the famine of the word.
Try Amos 8.
Amos 8. In Amos 8, where am I? Amos 8 and 11. There it is. And it says, behold, the days come, saith the Most High Power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Most High. That's coming, brothers and sisters. That famine, where we won't be able to get the word of the Most High the way we have it right now. You understand me? These are things that you have to understand. Find your congregation, link up with our body, because when them pull the plug and the lights go out, what then? All of this information right now, they're gonna sooner or later remove it and not give us access to it. So let me read it again. Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Most High Power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water, but of hearing the words of the Most High. Go and link in with your elders. Go and utilize the opportunity right now that you have, the leisure time that you have to gain the wisdom, to get it. If you've never been in the academy, go into it. If you've never been into a body, linking in with an elder, go and find yourself there. You understand me? Most cities right now on the earth, and I think most cities in Babylon right now, there's a church there. You understand? Oh yeah, you might have to drive a few hours to get there, but nonetheless, go. You understand me? Link in, know the people, know the elders. You understand me? Build relationships, proper relationships, and come off of the keyboard. You understand me? Too much keyboard warfare right now with social media. But anyways, let me come off of the box and go back to the next call, alright? And Elder Lawya, anything you want to add to that? Please.
Hey man, I couldn't say it any better. It's time to link in. All the way in. It's time. Yes, sir. Okay?
Alright, let me see who else is here that we haven't spoken to. Let me see. All right, and we have Francina from Georgia in the 404 area code. I think this might be our last call for the evening. All right, Shalom.
All right.
Go ahead. You're live.
Shalom.
Shalom. How you doing, sis?
Shalom.
Bless you, sister. You're live. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes, I just wanted to call in and just say thank you to everybody who allows themselves to be used by the Most High for the work. I don't want to name drop, but there's a lot of people at the body that I attend that help out with a lot of stuff. They help keep me grounded, give me reality checks when I need it. There's sisters who make a lot of things like butters, food. I think there's somebody amongst the body. Her name's Akita and Mike. They're a couple. They're married in the truth. And they make some of the best food you ever tasted. They have original eggs and everything that they sell and some of the best wine you can get your hands on. So, I mean, it's just a lot of different gifts amongst the body where I am. There's healers. There's all kinds of people. And, of course, you elders for your patience and stuff with us. I just wanted to say thank you, for allowing the Most High to use you for what it is we need as a body. That's it.
Well, sister, thank you for your call, and I'm going to say this, and I think, of course I speak for myself, but, because we're, a body and we're operating as one, I'll go as far as say that I could probably speak for Elder Gaja on this point that, as much as you all appreciate what, the Most High have entrusted in us,
mm-hmm.
we appreciate you all because we realize that
mm-hmm.
without you all, a lot of this is not possible on many levels. Okay? I mean,
yeah.
just the inspiration. I'm pretty sure, the Gaja, you can attest, just having the responsibility of operating and being with brothers and sisters, the level that it just forces you to just be on your, on your game and, spiritually, making sure that you're reading, you're praying. You understand? It just keeps you, it drives you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it does, 100%. 100%, man. And, just learning back on that, Elder, when I was in New York, and it's not just New York. I was in London about a month and a half ago. Then from London back to Jamaica. Then from Jamaica to Canada. Then into New York, into Boston, and meeting the people and dealing with them. And it's like, people coming up to me telling me how much I have changed them life. You understand me? And it's like, wow, I'm asking the question like, how did I do that? And just telling you, and the shows you used to do, your testimony, it's inspiring, and it is a humbling thing, my brother. Like really, like I'm looking and say, you have no idea how much I appreciate the body, appreciate the people. Never mind, you with me? People, saying to me like, Elder, you've done so much, and I feel like I know you all my life, and all of that, and it's like it gives me, it motivates me, like you said, to stay studied. You with me? To stay in the walk. I'm around every day. Every day I'm around a brother in the truth. You with me? A brother in the truth who is with me. So I have to I have to make sure that I am circumspect. You with me? When them thoughts come to my mind of that, nah, you can't do that, man, because you're not just you're not just accountable for yourself. There's others out there looking to you for guidance, looking to you for all of that. You with me? So yeah, man, I have a deep appreciation, a very deep appreciation for the people, man, and I'm thanking the brothers and sisters right now who calling in, who participating within this broadcast, because without you, it wouldn't be possible. You understand me?
Yes.
Christ said, "What the greatest amongst you is." You understand me? And that's what I, it's like I never did anything, not at all, to warrant this responsibility or to even have this truth. I'm filthy rotten. You understand me? Didn't do anything to warrant it, man. So to be here in it, man, all praises and honor to the Most High, man. You understand? And sister, just hearing you, man, sister, bless you, man, and keep strong and keep the fight up. We know that we're going through trying times. You understand me? Just keep the faith. Don't forget your first love. Just keep it, man. And one day we'll see Zion.
That's right. That's right. All right. So bless you, sister. You enjoy the rest of your evening. And you said that's the last call, Khan?
Yes, sir. That's the last call that we have this evening. And it's been a blessed broadcast. You know, the adversary tried to take us out earlier, but we came out on top.
That's right. That's right. Let's give all praise and honor to the Most High for just giving us that strength to endure. Let's thank Brother Balas for, coming in and helping sort things out in the background. Thank you, Brother Balas. Thank you, Elder Gaja, for, again, just being a part of another wonderful show. All praises to the Most High. And, of course,
thank you.
Hey, all praises. And Elder Rawchaa, if it be the Lord's will, he will be back next week with another powerful broadcast. So you all look out for that. This coming Sunday, we will be in the academy. And hey, brother, and until we see each other again, Shalom. I love you. We love you, brothers and sisters that are out there who are continuing. Hey, brother. Hey, what more can I say? You brothers and sisters stay strong. Search out for the Most High in both spirit and truth. And until we all see Zion, brothers and sisters, Shalom.
Shalom.
Back to you, coming back to you. Back to you, coming back to you. Back to you. Our praises be to Ahaya, Hashem Yeshaya. We have wandered far from you, serving the gods of wood and stone, and we have corrupted our ways, most holy one, by disobeying your commands. We were lost, but now we are coming back to you. From the east, north, south, and west, the 12 tribes of Israel, to keep your laws and commandments. We are coming back to you. From the east, north, south, and to be the prince and priest that you desire us to be. Mount Zion is where we belong, but Israel, we have forsaken the Most High, so He has placed us at the bottom and scattered us throughout every nation to be servants. Oh, but now we are going back to Him. From the east, north, south, and west, the 12 tribes of Israel, to keep your laws and commandments. We are coming back to you. From the east, north, south, and to be the prince and priest that you desire us to be. Jeremiah chapter 3 verses 14. Turn, O backsliding children, said the Most High, for I am married unto you, and I will take one of a city and the two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Oh, back to you. But now we are coming back to you. From the east, north, south, and west, the 12 tribes